What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and we now flip things around and head to the multiplayer side of Halo 5 Guardians into the brand new mode that I think is the best of the bunch, Warzone. We're here on Escape from Ark. We are the red team going against blue, first to 1,000 wins. This is the mode that has all sorts of awesome different influences and different ideas from plenty of first-person shooter multiplayer experiences, all blended into one with the finest fruits. This is like your top of the line Jamba Juice, Pinkberry, smoothie, yogurt, deliciousness, and I love it. I've been a fan of Halo multiplayer all along. I really like the style, the pace, the weapons. I think it's always been fun. As I grew and over the last couple years, I trended more towards the Call of Duty side of things and some other games. I found Titanfall very interesting, yet lacking. Halo 5 Warzone's mode, it feels like it takes what Titanfall tried to do and makes it really good. So what is different here is, yes, you are going against your opponent. Yes, you're trying to kill as many Spartans as you can, but there are also all of these bosses, these NPC bosses that are dropped in. You'll see here marked with these skull icons that you can kill for points. A lot more than just taking down the blue team gives us points. This is a Sengeli General here, 25 VP you can see. So killing him, I get the first 25 points for our team there, as well as a weapon as my sort of, my booty, my reward, as I'm a pirate in this space crazy world. It's very much more than that too, because as you build your score, as you do better, you unlock more options for yourself. You'll unlock better weapons at these armory points where you can grab bigger, better, and more badass gear for your Spartan to do even more damage. So you're incentivized to do well. You're incentivized to capture these points. You're incentivized to kill these NPC bosses. You're incentivized to take down other Spartans, because it not only helps your team reach 1,000 points, but also unlocks more and more of your arsenal for yourself. So as you can see, it's merging a whole lot of different modes into one, which is pretty cool. So you've got sort of like capture and hold, domination a little bit, where we're gaining points as that happens, and then we're also killing. Those are just some NPC guys that are holed up in certain areas. So the more we clear those out, the more chance we have of capturing the base. So you're constantly battling against multiple fronts. It's a very dynamic mode. It's super fun, and I feel like it's going to add so much replayability, because it's not just like memorize the maps and memorize, you know, the routes you'll take and the locations of, you know, the legendary weapons and whatnot. You really are going to be involved in much more of a battlefield type thing. And I don't mean Battlefield the game, I mean like an actual like Halo battlefield. Because you are able to drop in vehicles thanks to those requisition points. You are able to go and fight NPCs. You know, if you're like, I don't have the weaponry to really duke it out 1v1, but I can go and make a push for some of these NPCs, that's very valuable, and it will help your team. Because remember, not only is it, say, 25 points for you, but in theory, you got to think about it like this. If you get one of those NPC bosses, you're taking away 25 points from the other team, and in effect, it's a 50-point switch, because they are limited. And they will drop in different point values, different locations. You can go and crush the enemy core for an instant victory, although in all the rounds I've played, that has never happened. Now, in full disclosure, this is a round I played in Germany at Gamescom. You can see in the bottom right corner it says pre-release software, but the game looks great. It played great. I noticed no issues. So I'm guessing that this is insanely close, if not the exact version that we'll be playing later this week. And as soon as the full game multiplayer opens up, I'll be able to show you more maps, more modes, and work on building my character with requisition packs and gear and all that good stuff. I'm currently using a ghost to spree my way to savior status for my team, taking the early lead, and these points will build quicker and quicker. Right now it's 90 to 79. You'll notice there's 14 and some change on the countdown time ticker. Things are warping in. Those are more NPCs. We're capturing the garage, and I just love how every moment you feel much more, I feel, in charge. You know, I really love Black Ops 3. I really love Call of Duty and the direct action that you feel from there. I love the fact that a lot of these multiplayer games have mixed things up. You know, they added the specialist to Call of Duty, so you sort of have that awesome perk on your person at all times. Even if you don't get a crazy kill streak, you can still do something cool by the end of the round. And Halo, likewise, has made changes to their formula, and possibly even more. I feel like this is a mode that they clearly looked at the landscape of FPS games and said, what can we do to sort of set a new tone, make a mark? They kind of did that with console FPS in the first place, and now TDM, Slayer, whatever you want to call it, all that kind of stuff, capture the flag, has been done to death. And so I think this rec station idea merged with kind of, it almost reminds me of Killzone, where I think it was Killzone 3, where they had this like revolving objective mode where it was called like guerrilla warfare or guerrilla something, I believe, where it kind of cycled through like a team deathmatch round and a capture and hold round and some different things throughout the same match. And that's kind of what this feels like, except possibly done with even more polish and more professional polish and prowess, because it just feels like a better flow. There's a nicer package here. It feels like everything is dolled up in gold foil instead of maybe silver and bronze. And the traditional like Halo gameplay is still there, which is super fun. As you can see, you know, we're grenading fools, we're shooting guys. Obviously, you've got the zoom ability now in all the guns, which so far in single player has been a huge blessing, and I love it. I think all the mechanical changes they made to Halo 5 are fantastic. It may end up being my favorite Halo of all time, especially because I really love Warzone multiplayer. So far, I'm in love with the campaign. Can't wait to see how that wraps up. And then Arena multiplayer is there for people who want more of the tried and true Halo action. Plus, it's adding that esports edge that I think is going to make this one of the best packages of the year and of the generation, frankly. I mean, they're doing all free DLC when it comes to maps and modes, which is genius. You never split your player base that way. They've got these rec packs that allow you to unlock gear. I'm not sure if it has guns or not. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments below. But again, microtransactioning out some of the stuff that isn't totally central to the gameplay, and then making the stuff like maps and modes pretty darn accessible. It's free. I don't know how much more accessible you can get than that. You'll notice there I was also killing some NPCs, and you might be asking yourself, well, this looks a lot like Titanfall. What makes this any better than Titanfall, where you were running around killing NPCs and that didn't feel very fulfilling? Well, a couple things here. One, I feel like they've integrated your participation with the NPCs in a much more meaningful way, because there's a lot more points tied to them thanks to the bosses. There's a lot more incentive also to kill, because you can come back and use your rec points based on how well you're doing to go and then take on the actual human targets. I'm currently in this walking mech that reminds me so much of Metal Gear, and strangely enough, I thought this would be a killing machine, and I found it pretty tricky to get guys gone with this. I pick up a kill there, but for some reason I felt like with these rockets and this massive railgun, I would be taking guys down in a second. Instead, I get grenaded and blown up. Thanks so much. It's crazy how similar that animation, that look was to Titanfall, like when you go and hijack a Titan. But I don't feel like Halo 5... I don't feel like Warzone is like ripping off Titanfall. I feel like it's just, in a way, the general trend of the FPS genre. Like, no longer is a mode, you know, where you kill the other team, and a mode where you hold points enough. You really got to find a way to be dynamic and set yourself apart, because there are so many of them. If we think of just this fall alone, you know, we've got Halo 5, massive FPS title, massive multiplayer title. We've got Call of Duty Black Ops 3, massive FPS title, massive just title in general. Star Wars Battlefront, again, massive shooter, massive title in general. These are all attached to franchises and brands that have so much clout. They hold so much love and so much just nostalgia and also quality with their fan bases. That was some really, really snotty sniper shooting. I do apologize. So in an era when the market is dominated by dominant games, you have to find a way to one-up each other. And I think that making these more eclectic modes, these more sort of well thought out modes, these more just sort of like well-rounded modes is going to give people reasons to come back more and more and more. It also just fills out the checklist. It gives a bigger, better, more bold package for Halo 5 Guardians. Destiny, you know, even taking that into consideration, is one of the most popular FPS of the generation, and again of this year with the Taken King. You know, a lot of their stuff with the raids and the strikes, that's a little bit more involved than, again, just 4-on-4 or 6-on-6 killing each other. I'm going after a boss here. This is a tougher boss. He's still worth 25 victory points, but what makes him more difficult is that he is surrounded by a crew of quite a bit of obstruction and opposition. Took him down, though, and now my rec count is up pretty high, so when I do respawn, I'll be able to grab some good gear. I think this game is gorgeous. Both single-player and multiplayer look freaking fantastic. One of the best that Xbox One has ever put on disc, for sure. I want to get something crazy, so I'm like, let's get a giant flying ship. So these basically function as kill streaks. There's no kill streaks in the traditional sense that you'd expect from Call of Duty in terms of like, hey, get 10 kills, and then you're able to do this. But in effect, it is a kill streak. The more you kill, the more points you get, the more rec points you get, the more options you have at your disposal to take dudes out however you see fit. I could also use this to go, and a viable strategy would be, hey, I'm going to take this. Instead of fighting against the more mobile human opponents, I'm going to take this and go kill as many of the NPC bosses as I possibly can. That would probably be a good idea, and I think it's one I take. This flies like a drone. It doesn't have a whole lot of momentum. It's more like a tank in the sky. And again, it struggles against individual Spartans. You'll notice that the vehicles in general, except the Ghost where I ran over a ton of people, these more ranged vehicles don't seem to fare so well. And that would really be awesome if I could go back in time and tell myself, hey, how about you go and fight the NPCs, because they're a little less mobile. I do pick up an assist there, and all in all, now my team is struggling right now. But based on the capture and hold, you are able to flip the flow of the battle and turn the tides quite quickly. It's not just all about how many guys you kill, how many whatever. It is also about holding those points. And you'll see that red right now is 2 of 3. So my team has 2 of 3, and so we're able to hopefully chip away at this deficit and claw our way back in, because we will be ascending that scoreboard a little bit speedier than the blue folk. If we could get a total capture, that would be great. I now have finally decided to go after the NPC, and I weakened him a bit without getting the final blow. And even though I was up to 7, and it says level 7 because up to 7 Rex, it starts me back at 3, and then they have to recharge. So it's a really interesting kind of ebb and flow, push-pull system of, like, not wanting to punish you just for dying, but at the same time not wanting you to always be at, like, the same echelon every spawn. I don't know, I feel like they just really nailed that system, and I feel like they got it right. And, of course, the mechanics, the gameplay is ultimately what makes things awesome. But you're seeing that you are leveling up, and so there is XP within it. So again, it's kind of like merging a little bit of like a MOBA aspect there, where you're leveling up, which unlocks skills, quote unquote. In this case, they're weapons. But again, I hope you really get the feel that this is like the perfect amalgamation of a whole bunch of modes, a whole bunch of shooters and ideas, all crammed in one. And it never felt overwhelming. It never felt like too diverse, or I'm being pulled in too many directions. You can kind of feel out the battle however you want. You could technically just go after NPC bosses the entire time if that was your mission and that was what you felt would be best for your team. But I like the approach of a little bit of everything, based on the scenario, based on your spawn point, based on what's going on. We took the lead right there, which is nice, although blue team now does have 2 of the 3. Another boss is down here, and I'm going to Spartan laser him for some points for my squad. It just feels good to go do that and then be like, hey, all right, got some confidence. My rec points are refilling. And I did it every time at my respawn. But it is possible to go into some of those armories and change out your gear, I believe, on the fly. I'm not sure if then it affects your next spawn. I think you can change it out on the fly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I remember that happening. And I'll confirm all this for you when I am able to access the online servers later this week. But I want to make sure I brought you guys gameplay. We've been having a lot of fun with single player, which is awesome. But obviously, there's plenty of people who just play Halo for the multiplayer, or that's their favorite part, or that's what they focus on. So I didn't want to neglect this in any way. This dude here, trying to take him out of his Warthog as he makes my life mean a whole lot more, because I am about to run out of it. Trying to find him. Oh, dude's here as well. I don't know sure why I got cute with the Spartan laser. Thought it'd be fun to get a kill, but I guess the cuter you are, the less deadly you are, and we found that out firsthand right there. I love the presentation style of those menus. It also kind of reminds me of some of the recent like Advanced Warfare kind of survival modes from Call of Duty. Like, I don't know. It's just like the best of all worlds, and I think this is going to be one of the best falls for first-person shooter fans in a long time, maybe even ever. I think the quality, consistency, and breadth of Halo 5 Guardians, and similarly the quality, the variety, the breadth, the fun of Black Ops 3, hopefully the variety and the breadth of Star Wars Battlefront. I know it's quality, I just don't know how much content's there, being multiplayer only, but I think these are going to be some of the best shooter packages we have ever received and ever seen, and I think it's going to be such a fun fall if you are a big fan of shooters in general. You're going to have so many things to play with friends, and my only concern is, like, which one do I dedicate myself to, because these online games, like, you really have to commit to one or the other, I feel like, maybe two, in order to know where you're going to devote your time, where you're going to find mastery, which kind of controls you really want to make your primary concern, and therefore, especially with all the leveling up of characters now, like, I want to level up my Spartan, But if I spend too much time in Black Ops, I won't be doing that. But I know I really want to play Black Ops, so it's going to be a true, like, I'm going to have to get the schedule. It'll be like Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays are my Halo nights. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my Call of Duty. And then Saturday, Sunday is my Battlefront weekends. Either way, we're kneeling up. We took out a guy with a sword. You'll see that we are working our way towards a whole lot of wreck points. I should probably make a swap here, but I'm too concerned with these guys in the area. So we grab that. I go in for the melee kill thinking I would have it, and I didn't, but I have 9 wreck points. Currently number 2 on my team. I was playing with all YouTubers and press, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not like a Halo pro, but to just walk in and walk up with players who are very good and do play shooters for their channel much more regularly than I do. I was like, you know what, let's grab one of these ghosts. That worked out well for me in the past. Let's see what we can do. I'm also curious how the maps are going to influence this. This is a big sort of like deserty map with bases in the center and around the perimeter. But how will other map design encourage and influence playstyle? Will there be maps where like the bosses are too far out or make too much sense and so you'll want to fight them or you'll want to not fight them? I don't know how I didn't run this guy over. There we go, finally. I feel kind of guilty like running people over. It's not really my MO or my my style, but hey, we're picking up some points for our squad here. It's 835 to 841. So close, but they have wrapped up 2 of the bases. We gained 25 points, but they are going to be real bad news because they do have 2 of the 3, and I'm trying to save our squad by grabbing some Spartan kills, which not only gives us points, but keeps them despawned and resets their wrecks. So there is, again, you're starting to notice like the whole ebb and flow of this mode and the whole sort of really genius numerical logic behind everything and how I think this is going to be possibly people's favorite mode of the year. It is really close. It's coming down to the wire exceptionally well here. This is exactly what you want Warzone to be. I did play one round where it was a blowout, but you'll see that they went in and killed a Forerunner Master Index, which is a super valuable boss, and grabbed the win. I picked up 29 kills on Spartans. They're 5 boss takedowns. Feeling pretty good about my game, and hopefully you guys are feeling pretty good about Halo 5. Let me know what you think of Warzone multiplayer in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying the Halo action and want more of it. Thank you so much for supporting this series and being awesome fans. Cannot wait to bring you more coverage of single player, multiplayer, and AC Syndicate. More games coming your way soon. Until that time, everyone, thanks again for watching. Tricks, much, fantastic day. I love you all. We will see you all later.